Welcome, Yogi sir.
Hi, Abhishek. How are you?
Fine.
Yeah.
Tanu ma'am, kindly proceed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are ready to proceed. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining for today's webinar. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My name is Tanu Gupta, Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department at IMS Engineering College. Here, we are glad to announce that the Department of Computer Science and Engineering is organizing a talk on new technology trends. The talk will be given by Mr. Yogi Ahuja, Vice President and Senior Technical Manager at Bank of America, Pennsylvania, US. He started his career with Birlasoft as software developer in 2005 and also has over 15 years of industry experience with various technologies in different reputed companies like TCS, Infosys, Microsoft, and many more. We want to make sure students understand that listening from clients of TCS Infosys has more weightage as compared to someone from TCS and Infosys. With this, I like to call Mr. Yogi for sharing your immense knowledge and valuable experience with our students.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanu, for your kind gesture. And thank you, everyone, for joining this. And today, 8:05 a.m. in the morning, New York time in Pennsylvania. So, and thank you, Abdesh, sir, for giving me opportunity to speak to the young professionals, the future of our technology workforce. I want to share my presentation while I speak. So let me know if you can see my screen.
Yogi sir, I want to take your minute.
Sure.
Students, you are open to discuss anything about the technologies, industry, current trends, placements with sir. He is very open to you, and please be cooperative. Thank you. Sir, you can start.
Sure. Let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. All right. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I hope everyone is safe and sound. Families are doing good, especially with COVID situation in India. I hope soon we will come out of this situation and we will start living the normal life. Let's see. Presentation mode, I'm not able to see the faces, so I want to make sure that if I'm presenting, I should be able to see you. All right. So I know Tanu introduced about me, and I want to give a little bit more introduction about myself. So I'm Vice President and Senior Technology Manager with the Bank of America. And right now, I manage Merrill Trading Technologies. And our firm has $2.8 trillion of customer assets. So Merrill Trading Technology is like when the customers goes on the Merrill Lynch and they do trading. So there are a lot of systems talks to each other. There are a lot of technologies, artificial intelligence, machine learning is involved there, and customers do the trading on that. It's a very huge, very big platform. It's the world's biggest brokerage business, and it's like you can see like $2.8 trillion is a huge asset, like more than the total GDP of many countries. So I'm also an inventor. I have 3 pending patents, US patents, and I'm passionate about all the invention research. I have patents on distributed ledgers and blockchain that over the years I patented them, and they are pending patent. So that's there, and I manage multiple global teams, and the teams I have vendors from TCS, Infosys, Accenture, along with my own employees who reports to me. So we have big presence in India, big presence in like China and in the UK and in United States. So that's it. So I have total 16 years of industry experience, and 5 years I worked in India. When I was in India, I worked in the companies like Birlasoft, TCS. And from last 11 years, like more than 11 years now, I came in the country in the US in 2010. So it's now more than 11 years and I'm working in the US. So this is brief about me. And so the first thing, important thing is when we are talking about tech trends, then we need to understand why we are learning tech trends. Like you can Google it out and you can see, okay, what is the emerging technologies? And you will get tons of tech trends. You will get hear about artificial intelligence, machine learning. And so why we are here, like why we are listening. So you need to understand one thing. That we need to understand the demand, right? So when you say the demand and supply go hand in hand, so we need to understand where the demand is coming from. Every technology is not in demand, so we need to understand that. When I will talk about new technologies or maybe the existing technologies also I will touch upon. I will touch upon what streams you should prepare yourself, because very soon you will be in industry in few years. And you want to know that, okay, where you want to put your focus, where you want to put your energy, so that when you go in the industry, you grow faster. So someone who is already knowledgeable in industry, understand technology, goes into any company, whether you become an entrepreneur or you join any company, knowledge is power. And the sooner you get ahead in the game, the better it is for your career. And again, you can easily sell your profile. So if some company comes to you and saying that, hey, how you are different than others, then you can say, okay, I'm different than others because I know these technologies, and I have prepared these things, which is like a very positive aspect. Because when you go for an interview is all about comparison. You are comparing one person from another person and making a decision that, okay, who is the right person for the team, for the company. You need to make sure that you are ahead of others. So that is the importance to learn. And like Tanu mentioned, like understanding, because I deal, if TCS comes to me, if Infosys comes to me and say that, okay, Yogi, here is the guy we just hired from the college, and can we put it in your team? So I compare, like I see, okay, this is the person, if he joins my team versus somebody who knows something, I give the weightage to that person. And I have seen in my career that sometimes the person who is just a fresher and 1 year into the industry grow much faster than someone who is 10 years in the industry. So once you join the industry workforce, it does not matter you are in the industry from 10 years or 1 year. So better to be like someone who is like well prepared and going to industry. So now I will take a pause here before I jump into start talking about new technologies. I will take a pause, and I would like to take any questions. Like if before I start, if there is any question or anything you want to understand, ask about me, or if you have any doubt that why you are here and what you're going to benefit from it, I will give like 10 seconds to have some questions comes to me, and then I will try to answer them.
Yes, student, if you have any query related to your any query, you can ask.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, Yogi, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, as I've been into technical field since so long, I have one finance-related doubt. And my doubt is why we only consider big four companies in the financing field. Why never TCS, Infosys, or any IT company has came up as a new big financing company or consulting taxation company in the market?
Okay. So Your question, let me try to understand. You're saying that why TCS and Infosys is not something that comes at the financial company. When you say financial company, are you talking about a fintech in particular? Are you talking about banks? Like what is
No,
it?
sir. Basically, I was talking about the big four company what we have. That is PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, and PW, and one more. I exactly don't remember the name. When in whole world we speak of the financing and taxation company, we only have these four considered. Why we cannot have the fifth one? Why the tech giants have never tried to go in that field?
Yeah. So tech giant are not like jumping everywhere, right? Say for example, Zoom came from a different company, and it is getting so much popularity. Skype from Microsoft is there for a long time, is not taking the popularity. So it depends on a lot of factors. Like KPMG, for example, is in the taxation business for so long. They have their own reputation. They have their own um, uh, brand behind them. So when somebody wants to hire someone for auditing, for taxation, they will look for the name KPMG. It's not like when they ask for taxation, they just go to KPMG. There are many other small players are there. Like Planter is one of the name that is less heard of, and there are other small players also there put the bid there. But the comfort level is with somebody who is experienced in that. So it does not mean that other companies are not in the business. They are still in the business, maybe not heard of because they are not getting big contracts and big projects out of it. So everybody wants to jump, right? When there is an opportunity to make money, then it's not only KPMG get it. Like it's everybody try to put their offers, and whoever gets accepted, move on from there.
Thank you, sir. Got my answer.
Sure. Any other question? So I like open discussion. So I really love that. I appreciate the questions. So if there is any questions, go ahead and ask. I can take any question. I will try to answer. If I am not able to answer, then I will sure get back to you on that.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah.
Myself, Sir Brijen Shukla.
Yes, Bijan.
So my question is that, so how can we identify which company is made for us? Matlab, I want to say that whether it's TCS, I should go for TCS or Amazon. Is any difference between them, or just we as a fresher we just start in any company and then grow up?
Okay, so I will answer, Bijendra, just hold on to your question. I will answer after I will go with the tech trends, because you need to understand where the technology is going, how the technology is going on. But you have a very good question. Now I am taking the questions. If someone has a question related to me, and then we will move tech trends, and then I will have another round of question and answer. Then you can ask that question. I will happy to answer, Bijendra. Okay, so any question related to me or any general, then we will start. We will proceed to the next step then, if there is no question. But Bijendra, hold on to your question. Ask this question again, okay? After 15 minutes.
Okay, sir.
All right. Let me jump into it. Okay. So here are the technology, and this list is growing list. Like we had like one person went into space, and so that is also a lot of technology involved. Tesla is like growing like crazy. There are other competition, so there are a lot of technology around it, right? I cannot cover all the technology at once. There are a couple of reasons, right? One reason is that I'm not expert in each and every technology which exists in the world, right? Whatever is growing, that's a honest answer. But also the reason is that what I am seeing growing versus something else is a different perception. When you ask this question from 2 or 3 people, everybody has a different answer. But these are the questions that I think if you put your focus on, you will have a good chance of success there. So with that said, I will touch one by one. I will speak a little bit about each technology trends that are going around us. and then you can then I will take a pause and then see if the questions comes up, and I would encourage you to make the notes of this. And if I don't know if recording is happening, if happening, that's great. If it is not happening, you can take the screenshot, you can take the notes, whatever is convenient to you. The first thing is blockchain and cryptocurrency. The blockchain and cryptocurrency and blockchain are very important concept, and it's very important that in the next 5 to 10 years, I can see that blockchain and cryptocurrency are getting popularity. Like they will gain the popularity in a very fast pace, and it's very growing. So when I say about blockchain, I will not go to the each and every detail, but when you say about blockchain, you have multiple algorithm where it says that, okay, the data is not at the central place, it is distributed into multiple areas, and you are trying to prove the identity. So what I mean is, let's say you are signing a legal papers, like you are signing the property papers, and you are doing a registry. And how I can check that if this registry is illegal or not, like is this property is authentic or not. So instead I go in the registrar office and check that, okay, this property registry is good or not. I can check with the 5 different people and make sure that this person is not like cheating on me. And 5 different people can say, okay, if this person is not cheating, then this particular property, this particular land is authentic. So that's an example. So what blockchain is all about is that when you are checking the authenticity of something, when you are trying to transfer the money, or you are trying to do a transaction, you want to make sure that there should not be one system, one software give you the authenticity confirmation, rather than you are taking the confirmation from many systems there. So that's a high level idea on how the blockchain works. Cryptocurrency is developed on the concept of blockchain. So there are more than 900 cryptocurrencies that exist today. Some are speculative, some are real, like Bitcoin, for example, which is well known by everybody in the world, is more of kind of a digital gold, because the transaction of Bitcoin is very time consuming, versus something like Dogecoin is very quick to transact, and something like Bitcoin Cash is quick to transact. So you will see, I am seeing in United States also, there are many ATM machines are there which are accepting Bitcoin transactions there. Even Visa jump into Bitcoin transaction. PayPal jump into Bitcoin transaction. And you have SQ. There is a company called SQ that jump into Bitcoin transaction. So Tesla also had invested a lot in Bitcoin. So a lot of companies are getting into the business, and I am very sure that the more and more time will pass by, people will understand the importance of it and try to adopt it. And if you see, a couple of my patents are also around blockchain and cryptocurrency, and I see a lot of value in that. So you can read about it. I cannot give you each and every detail because there are tons of papers, white papers, and a lot of information written on it. So you can read about it, you can understand how the technology works, and you should have a very good idea on how the blockchain and cryptocurrency work. I'm not sure if in India it is legal to transact Bitcoin or not, but definitely it is something you should know very well, like how the transaction works. I will jump to the next topic, is machine learning and AI in almost all domains. So whichever domain you talk about, there is some component of machine learning, there is some component of artificial intelligence, whether you talk about Tesla that they are building, whether you talk about the servers, that different new servers on the cloud they are building, whether you talk about the aeroplane, whatever technology you talk about, medical science field, machine learning and AI is in almost all domains. And I'm sure you are also aware of it. This is not something new you are hearing from me. This is a well-known fact, and you are like learning. The Python is a very good language for that to start with, and then there are a lot of companies are offering the services, because I will touch upon AWS and the cloud computing. Amazon and Google Cloud Computing, even Microsoft Azure has the services for machine learning and artificial intelligence. So my recommendation in machine learning and artificial intelligence is definitely Python is a very good language. You should know that, along with other languages that you are already learning. But also try to pick one service from either AWS or Microsoft Azure, and try to build some sample softwares around machine learning and AI, and try to experiment with it. Try to make small programs around it, and see how you feel about it. So that is something forthcoming. The third thing I want to touch upon is big data. So big data is like data is getting collected from all over the place. You open your garage opener, the garage opens, you have the refrigerator, it is giving you how the cooling is happening, fridge is cooling, you drive the car. So data is all over the place, right? You are on the Facebook, you like some post, you comment on some post. So that data is getting collected all over the place. And what companies are trying to do is how to use that data. So how to analyze that data. There are a lot of mathematicians. If you have an interest in data analyzing, you have interest in mathematics, this is the field that can catch you into it. Like you will write a lot of algorithms, a lot of data analysis algorithms, and you can be in a very good shape when you go in industry from the big data point of view. The companies who are very bullish on big data is definitely AWS and others are giving the service to do that. But the companies that are bullish, and like Splunk is one of the company which is big on big data. Planter is like investing a lot of money into big data. So there are lots of tons of companies which are IBM is investing a lot of money in big data. So there are a lot of companies because that is important. And Facebook is number one in entire thing, because Facebook is really analyzing, and that's how, due to that analysis, you get a relevant advertisement on your post based on the analysis that Facebook is doing. So that's on big data. Now, the fourth one is voice technology and voice designers. So this is something upcoming, like you see in the cars, you see in the phone, you see even Alexa devices, you see Google voice devices. There are a lot of voice devices, and the more and more this technology getting matured, there are a lot of softwares getting built in voice. So if you have a hobby, or no, I will not say hobby, if you have interest in voice technology, you want to become a voice designer, there's a company like read about something called Voice Flow. You can make a note on that if you're interested. Voice Flow is a company that lets you design. It's a Canadian company that lets you design the voice softwares on the fly. Like you just say, okay, if this person will speak something, then our software will react like that. And if this person speaks something different, it will react like that. You can design a workflow, and then it will automatically convert to the Alexa voice skill or Google voice skill. So, and even you can go to create an Amazon Alexa account. It's a free of cost account. And you can create a sample voice skill for that. So it's a very easy to learn. Like whatever technology I am speaking, you don't need to join a company to learn. You can Google it out, learn it, make a small project on it, and see how and look and feel and try to see how it goes. And don't put your focus all over the place. Like don't say I want to learn everything, whatever is shown on the screen. Pick one or two. And try to see which one is interesting you more. So your interest is more important than anything else. If you are not interested, if you feel bored about it, then don't do it. Try something different technology. Whichever makes you feel happy, whichever makes you feel excited about it, go with that. So voice technology is another example where whenever I see like kids are doing it, I feel good about it. So that is something you want to consider that. The next one is cloud computing, and AWS is a leader. So if you are really putting your energy into cloud computing, and Amazon Web Service is a real leader. It's not a AWS, it should be AWS. So it's Amazon Web Service that is a leader. And why it is a leader? Because first of all, their pricing model is very customer friendly. Like they are not very costly, and secondly, they are very easy to implement. So anyone can create a AWS account. They can play with the services. Like for example, the Lambda function is one of them. Then they have a Lightsail as a service, another one. There are hundreds of services around, right? So you don't have to focus in each and every service, but yeah, you can play with. You can, if you good in Python, go and create an Amazon account and create a Lambda function out of it and see how it runs. Because how the cloud, I'm sure you have some idea about cloud computing, but how cloud computing pricing model works is that when you are using the CPU, when you are using the hard drive, when you are using the data transmission back and forth between the servers, everything is priced in few cents, and then based on that, the total bill you get every month. So you get sometimes $20, $10, $5, whatever, based on the data uses. So cloud computing, and it's cloud computing is a 10-year-old. But why I'm saying it's a technology trends, because it is ever growing. Like it's not something that built 10 years ago and that's it. Every few months you will see a new AWS comes up. Every now and then you will have a new Amazon Web Service comes up. And if Amazon Web Service is not something you are able to understand, then the next best is Azure or Google Service. Google is a little behind in this, but Amazon is the leader. The second best is, I would say, Azure, and then the Google services are there. IBM is also putting their feet wet, but still they are nowhere near. So consider that. It's very exciting. Everybody, even you are good in computer or not good in computer, everything is there for like everyone can contribute something in web service, because there are hundreds of Amazon Web Service. So you can pick one which is easy to understand, easy to learn, and then you can pick it. Then I touch upon MuleSoft. So MuleSoft is a ever growing, like I see in the financial industry, even in non-financials also. It's used for API development. Like if you heard about RESTful APIs, or if you heard about the web services, MuleSoft is really, really growing very fast. So if you are really passionate about it, because for any data transmission from one place to another place, you need web services for that. So if you need a web service, then MuleSoft is the go-to place. Like whichever companies were building web services in .NET or Java, they're all leaning towards MuleSoft, and MuleSoft has a close connection with Java as compared to .NET, because MuleSoft, you can make MuleSoft very flexible writing Java functions there. So if you already know Java, I think MuleSoft, you want to invest your time there. And if you go to MuleSoft website, they will give you a trial version for 1 month. You can take the trial version, download the software, try to learn about it. So if you're really an API person, if you're really passionate about transmitting data one place to another, MuleSoft is the way to go. Especially if you learn Java, you have heavily invested in Java, MuleSoft will be easier for you to learn on that. The last thing I want to touch upon is the UI technology, the user interface that you are seeing. So whether you have I'm not talking about a mobile app. Mobile app is a different animal altogether. Like you can make an iOS and Android. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the UI component. Like you're designing a user interface that is responsive, that can be opened in mobile device, or that can be opened in laptop. If you're doing something like that, then Angular, React, and Vue, they are really, really heavy growing. So if you are fascinated about JavaScript, if you are fascinated about the browser HTML5 or HTML, then I think you should focus on Angular, because Angular, React, and Vue, it is so complex in itself that you might not get time for everything else. So if you are focused on the UI, you like to see the UI, you are kind of a designer mindset, or even not designer mindset, even for a programming mindset, because you are a JavaScript function, very complex JavaScript functions. Angular, React, and Vue is the way to go. So Angular, React, and Vue, you can pick one or two together. So these are technology trends there. What is going on? So now I will take a pause, and I encourage you to take a screenshot of this or make a notes of this, and let me know when I can move to the next slide. If you are taking a screenshot, once you are done, let me know. Okay. Okay. All right. So now I'm ready. I'm all yours. You can ask as many questions as you like, and I am happy to answer. I'm happy to talk to you. And yeah, that's my time is all yours now. So Brijendra, can you ask your question again, please, now?
Yes, sir. So my question was that so which company we should prepare for? Whether we should prepare for a big company or we shall start with a small company and then grow in that company.
Okay. So the way I understood is that you're prepared. So first of all, don't prepare for a company. Don't prepare. Okay, I want to go in HCL. I want to go in Infosys. I want to go this. Don't think all that. Focus on choose the technology where you want to really you feel good about it. You do say, for example, the technology I shown you, and you say, okay, I want to be a voice engineer. I really love voice. I created an Alexa skill, working really good. I go to Voice Flow. I created an account on Voice Flow. It works really well. Then you say, oh, my passion is voice. Now you will find the companies which have the jobs in voice. And initially, don't focus and don't restrict yourself in certain cities also. Like, don't say, okay, I want to only work in NCR. I don't want to go anywhere else. Or I only want to work in Bangalore. Don't restrict yourself. It's very important for you to become an SME on something, subject matter expert on something. And once you become a subject matter expert on something, then these company TCS, Infosys can hire. Like you can reach out to anyone. Like you say for example, you are reaching out to me, and you're saying, I am really good in voice flow and voice technology. So if I have anybody in circle that is really looking for someone in voice flow, I will recommend. And say somebody in JP Morgan or somebody in Charles Schwab say that, hey, I'm looking for a guy who is good in voice flow or voice technology. I will say that let me recommend this guy, and JP Morgan, Charles have talked to you directly and say you get selected. Then they will give you, okay, now it's your choice. Choose. You want to join TCS, you want to join Infosys, you want to Accenture. All are my vendors. So then you can choose the company. Company will not choose you. You will choose the company. So if you want to come to a point where you will choose the company, you need to be really SME on something. Like I have, and so in a real-time example, I have one person who was like really, I was his mentor and talking to me, and he was teaching in a college, and he was really good. He worked and he was really good in Angular and Vue.js, and I had a requirement on AngularJS, so I hired him in Infosys. That okay, go and join Infosys and join me. So he did not pick the company. I picked whoever was giving him more money, and he tried Infosys. And now what happened is that I have another requirement, another place, and I'm asking those guys that now join Accenture. So I'm running them behind. So be passionate on something. Be something you are really good about it, and this company will follow you. You don't have to follow the companies. Did I answer you, Brijan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Yep, more questions?
Sir, Aditya.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Sir, as you speak of the technologies, I since childhood I have came up learning this that one should focus on one thing and we should not run towards multiple things. But as I read some white papers, I came to know that companies are seriously required the guys who can integrate multiple technologies. As there is one person who know ML and there is one person who person who can run their ML software on AWS for them.
Okay. Let me take your answer. Like one thing I'm saying, okay, be passionate about one thing, and there are companies who are asking. So you need to understand why they are asking you to learn more than one technologies, right? There are two things you need to think of. Right? One thing is diversification. So when you say diversify, so if you are saying nobody is stopping you to be passionate about two technology. If you think, okay, I am good in voice already, let me try AWS also, and I'm good in that also because there are a lot of connections. So say you are good in Java, and you say, okay, I know Java very well. Let me try MuleSoft because it is very closely connected to it. Let me know MuleSoft also. So you are following one technology, but you kind of learn as a umbrella or basket of technology which are similar to that, right? It's not completely one. You are learning to make an Android app, and then you are learning to do a voice connection because there is no connection between them. So when I say follow the one technology, it means try to see if there is anything which is relative to each other, anybody is close to each other, like try to create a club it together and try to learn that, right? Like MuleSoft, don't learn MuleSoft alone, just make sure Java also you know about it because they go hand in hand. That's one thing. So that is one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is that the mindset which TCS, Infosys, these guys have, what they have is that I'm hiring this guy. So say, for example, I have a requirement in Bank of America. I called Infosys, hey, can you get me a guy who know Java and MuleSoft? And they find a Java and MuleSoft. Tomorrow I need to do a budget cut because see, my budgets are controlled by me. I have like $500 million budget. Then I need to see where I'm investing more money. Like this year I'm investing in MuleSoft. Next year I will invest in, say, on the UI application, which I need to build in Angular or Vue.js. So Infosys want to hire someone. If Bank of America tomorrow say that, hey, I don't need this guy because I don't have money to pay because I'm not building MuleSoft anymore. I need to jump to somebody. I don't want to invest money in one place. Then Infosys want to put this guy in some, because Infosys and TCS, these guys getting billing from the customer. Like I am paying Infosys, I am paying TCS. I don't want to give you the dollar amount that I pay. It's not something I should be telling you that how much dollars I pay to Infosys, how much dollars I pay to TCS. But I'm paying dollars to TCS and Infosys. And if tomorrow I say that, hey, this year I want a guy from some other technology. So now what Infosys will do, Infosys will release that guy from the project. Now I will stop paying him. So Infosys need to pay from their pocket. And they need to fight the guy from other technology. They want somebody who know more than one technology so that, I can say, okay, if this guy don't know this guy know three things. So he can fit here, he can fit here, he can fit here. So I don't have to pay from my pocket. Infosys will think I don't have to pay from my pocket because this guy is useful into multiple places there. So that is their thought process. However, don't forget that thing. If I need a MuleSoft guy and you join my team and saying you are a MuleSoft expert and you are really good in that because you are passionate about it, no matter how much less money I have, no matter you are working for Infosys or TCS, if you are really good in that, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to release you, even though I have to fund the money to pay you from some other project. Even I will call you to United States and you will work for me because you are good in that. So you need to understand, you need to be favorite to these guys, vendors, Infosys, TCS. You need to be really passionate about it, and you need to really have a connection with the customer, with the client, and so the client will not leave you. So you need to make a balance out of it, right? If you learn all the 10 different things, then you will lose a lot of opportunity because it's impossible for a human being to be expert in 10 different things. But if you are really good in that and you can be expert in 10 different things, go for it. Like if you are superhuman and you can be expert in 10 different things, go for it. But focusing on one or two things, and especially the things which are related to each other, will give you better benefits in long run as compared to going all over the place.
So you just leave me on the crossroads. I'm a bit confused now.
Okay. So what is the confusion?
Sir, same thing as you generally know, the mass recruiters in India are these tech giants, TCS and Infosys, and the client based client-based recruitments are very less. No one today can give me their data or for AWS, let's say admin control in their company as a fresher. So being as a fresher, if I say that I know one thing, I know two things, then Infosys and TCS will reject me. As you just said, they are looking for multiple tech guys.
So the question to you is, why you want to stick yourself to Infosys and TCS? Because there are hundreds.
No, sir, I don't want to stick myself. Just the simple thing, just the normal thing I want to try to say is, just when a fresher goes out for recruitment, the companies which are already well stable, they don't generally take freshers, as no one want some fresher to come and disturb their environment. As of now, my experience, I may be wrong.
So that is fine. I think your perspective is valid on its place. Nobody wants to take credit, but don't think of the holistic picture. That's why I said in the beginning, don't restrict yourself to companies. Don't restrict yourself to certain areas. Everybody start with a small company. I personally started with a small company. So be ready with that, because I have noticed some people really get so much fascinated about the big names that they really try to sell you. Don't restrict yourself. Even if you need to go to Bangalore and there is a small company that is looking into that field, go for it. So that is a high speed success thing. Infosys and TCS sometimes even don't ask you the technology question. They will just take you the reasoning questions and other questions, and they will hire you. Because what they do is they hire a bunch of freshers based on how your score in the test they are taking, how you go in an interview. And when they go to the client, they say, okay, I have this guy, fresher from the college. Some clients take it, some clients say, okay, I will take it. And they say, okay, this guy is free for 3 months. So I get free for 3 months and I train them, and then they charge me. So there are a lot of things happening, because at the end of the day, these big companies are there to make money, and they are doing whatever is in their best interest is. So if you want to restrict yourself into this company, then you will be able to join it, because you will prepare yourself in reasoning and everything. When you will go in the companies, you will get success and go to the high positions. That is something you need to think about, like how you want to grow faster. It's something you start your growth. So as soon as you join TCS Infosys, it doesn't mean you have really grown to the high positions there. It doesn't mean that. You grow there, that's fine. You will start getting paid, but to grow higher, you need to really be in your launch pad should be very stronger, and you need to make sure that you're really good. So yeah, I know. Just try to absorb it. Maybe this is not something you wanted to listen, but that is the fact. That's the reality. What is happening?
Yeah, I got it, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yogi, one question is that sometimes student got offer from multiple companies. One
Right.
company is like few companies are product based and other companies are service based. In starting, student think that product based companies are good, but when they got the good opportunity or good offer from the service based company, they are going for the service based company. So what do you think? Service based companies are good or product based companies are good?
Thank you so much. And by the way, Avdesh sir is my teacher, and in 2005 he taught me, and in a lot of lessons I still learn. So I just want to let everyone know. So I respect him a lot, and he's an excellent teacher. I know. So with that gesture, so let me try to answer it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So product-based company. Now, first of all, when a company comes to you that they are making a great product in the market and they are trying to sell it, you need to understand what product they are making. You need to do a little bit research on the product itself, because sometimes the company make the product, they try to sell it in the market, It is not that much popular product. Maybe some medical device product they are making, some software inside the medical devices. The industry is not taking it. There are other big competitors who are really beating them badly. The product fails. If product fails, then you are failed, because then you have nowhere to go. That said, if the product is really good, for example, and note a name company called Planter, and I'm the third time I'm taking the name of the same company. They are making a big data and database related products there, and they got a lot of government of US contracts, and now they are entering into other private companies contracts also, and growing very, very fast. They're really, really doing good. Also ask another question, that if their product is good, what is the market cap on this product? So say if they are making it in very niche product, like something very, very unique there, and try to research who are the competitors who are making these products. If other company, who is the leader in that product there, and try to ask their question why their product will be successful as compared to other. If the market is huge for the, so for example, they are making a product for automatic cars there, and automatic cars, the demand is going to be very, very high. No matter what you make, it will be sold. So it depends on product. But there is no yes and no answer. Product-based companies pay a lot of money as compared to service-based money, because the billing is, because guess what? You join a product-based company and their product gets super duper hit. Not only you will get high pay, but also your position in the company will grow very, very fast. So if you want to choose between product-based company is a little bit more risky, but it will pay you, and your growth can go very, very fast, but a little bit risky, because if their product fail, you are failed. A service-based company, you are diversifying with this, because they have many, many, many clients, and whatever clients tell them to do it, they do it. So it's more diversify and less risk. Reward will be good, depend on your performance.
One question is that the student learn various languages, like student learn Python, Java, or anything else, but they are not comfortable with the database. So what is the role of database in their programming language? So if a company offer a job, then how can the student will be comfortable for the database?
So they know the programming, but they are not comfortable in database, or so basically so if company is asking, then it is not necessary that they are working in the database also. Like, it's not like that some company is making a software, and in each and every software I'm using a database. And the reason is this: the especially big companies, the database team is completely different. The group is completely different. And the team that is working in the web service is completely different. And the team working in the UI is completely different. And when I say team and group, it's not a 1 or 2 or 5 people team. It's team of like 800 people, 1200 people, 1200 people doing only user interface, 1200 people doing only web services in the middle. It's called middle tier. And then maybe 600 people only doing database. They're not doing anything else. It's a big, huge teams. Now, if you join a company and you don't know database, then it is not a failure. Like, that's fine. You will join a team which is only focusing on UI, or only focusing on web service. And if you're good in database, you join a company join a team which is focusing on database, you will join that team. And now, how you will become good in that? You need to also understand that database technology is also growing. Like, there is NoSQL, there is a relational database, and now the trend is like there are some software written in NoSQL where there is no SQL, and there's some software written in relational database, and even mainframe is still not going anywhere. Don't get me wrong; it's a 1950s technology. You're writing programs in COBOL, and it's still not going anywhere. In next 20, 30 years also, I'm not seeing mainframe going anywhere. COBOL will still be used, and still there will be some demand for the COBOL developers. And so it depends. Like, when you will go in industry, you know relational database, and then you learn NoSQL, and then you are working on a tools which are like converting NoSQL to SQL. So there is job for everything. But I don't know if this is this something I answered correctly or not. But I try to give you an answer around what is going on in industry for database point of view.
So I think at least little knowledge of database is must.
Yeah, little knowledge of database is must. Why it is must? Because no matter I'm using database or not, still in interview I will ask question on database. So at least if you have a little knowledge and you have understanding, at least you will know, because end of the day, whether data is in mainframe in DB2 or whether database is sitting in SQL Server or Oracle, even though my team is not a database team, end of the day, I'm displaying the data to the customer. So data is getting stored somewhere. So knowledge of data, some knowledge of database is definitely an important thing.
One more thing is that the students are much more confused that what is a grid computing and what is a cloud computing.
Mm-hmm.
So can you describe it for the student?
So cloud computing is something that you have. So what is a computing? Computing is use of CPU. You have use of memory, use of the resources, hardware resources. Something happening in the cloud. It is happening something in the remote places, servers, say in the data center of Microsoft or Amazon, and the computing. So you are charged based on how much data you are using, how much data traffic, how many calls you are getting, how much CPU you are using. You are billed according to that. So that is like cloud computing. The thing, the processing. Early in the olden days, there used to be a big set of servers in the companies, and when you were using the data, the servers was maintained by the company. They used to spend a lot of dollars in just maintaining hundreds of servers there. So it all went to the cloud, so that whatever I'm using, I'm paying only for that. That's a cloud computing. Grid computing, I'm not expert in that, so I cannot comment right now on grid computing.
Okay, no issue. So student, please ask your queries if you have any doubt or if you want to have some knowledge from the sir.
So I want to ask one question. So you are the VP, right? You are from the Bank of America. So there in interview there is a bar raiser round. So basically VP interviews the candidate for basic things like why you want to join the company, what do you like about it. So different questions. So sometimes they also maybe I think it is a round of checking the candidate whether he's having a particular leadership skills or not. So can you please tell me about bar raiser round? Explain me. Can you please explain me, because it is hard to understand the bar raiser round. Some companies have a different criteria. Amazon have a different criteria. Microsoft has a different.
Yeah. So the reason they ask is that they want to understand that whether you will be able to communicate with the customer. Sometimes what happens, we hired someone who is really good in technology and understand technology very well, very great coder, but when he speaks, his English is we're not able to understand his English. So it is very concerned, because what happens is that we make a perception that if this person is not speaking in calls, and when he is speaking, no one is able to understand what he is speaking, it sometimes get very irritating and they're not able to understand what is going on. So that is a concern. People want to make sure that this person is good in technology, but also we are able to understand him, what he is speaking. So I don't know if you have given any interview or not, but if you have given any interview, and if you have not selected because you passed all the round, but last round you failed it, the one reason could be the perception that they might have perceived that, okay, when you are speaking, it's not very clear, or you're not able to speak clear as compared to someone else who is speaking clearly. However, you will not be rejected in all the companies, right? One company may have a different, it's a human perception, right? These guys are human. I am a human. So I can perceive about someone without knowing about that person. But if you have something in the background, so for example, you did an AWS certification, you have done this many inventions, or you are doing really good, and your resume is strong, then it's hard to deny you, because you have something in your back that can support. So consider that thing. And if you get somehow one company reject you, it's something that's not a big deal. Like I was rejected many times. I was in the last round of Accenture many years ago. I was rejected, but now Accenture is working for me. So it's not the end of the story, right? So that's fine. It's people make perception. Now, like we have a lot of people from China who, unless they speak 5 times the same thing, we are not able to understand what they're saying. So they're all surviving. But when we take their interview and sometimes we don't understand them, then we have to reject them unless someone calls me and tells me that this guy is really good. Don't reject him. So that's a different thing.
But why hiring managers or why VPs generally focus on the leadership skills? They are very the candidate is very good in technology, and he can do anything. Also, he's very good in communication, but still they check for the leadership skills, whether they can manage things or not. Uh, Sometimes VPs wants the evidence, like what any failure you faced and what you learned from that failure, how you can avoid that thing in the future. So why they ask these type of things, which is not even needed.
Yeah, Taksh. So I can say that all VPs are not the same. Every company has different criteria, different people. If I am taking interview versus some other VP is taking interview, the way of thinking, the way of mindset will be completely different. You cannot control that. You cannot control the human perception. It's all human perception. I'm making a perception about you. Taksh, I don't know you, but I'm making a perception about you. And if someone else talking to you, making perception about you. But believe me, there's a couple of things, right? One thing is that, say, a requirement comes where I need to hire 5 people. I will make the perception and I can reject whoever I want to reject. But if I have a requirement of 500 people, I cannot deny anybody. So I have to select everybody or maybe reject very few people. So you cannot control that. This is not something that you can control that. You can just practice yourself, improve yourself. You can try to. And one piece of advice I will give to everyone in this call, that try to find a mentor in the industry. Who is in the industry? When I say try to find a mentor in the industry, someone who is alumni of the college, someone you know who already in the industry for many years. If someone wants to make me mentor, I will be happy to take it, but I will take a selective candidates for that, because I have a schedule that I cannot compromise. I cannot make 100 people as a mentor. And so take that thing, try to find out one person, because that one piece of advice that you will get with someone you trust, it will go a long way. Even whether it comes to the interview, whether you are in industry, still keep a mentor. Mentor doesn't have to be someone who is working in the same company. He can anybody you trust.
Also, I have one more question. So different companies hire for different technologies. Like Amazon hire for SD, software development engineer, and Amazon also hire for the front end engineer or maybe infrastructure engineer. But when it comes to the salary perspective or salary point, then in Amazon there is a criteria for salary. So SD get more salary than front end engineers and infrastructure engineers, and they're preferred more than any other. And this is same thing with other companies as well. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the generalist, so because SDs are hired on the basis of general criteria, so they can be put into any area. Mm-hmm. But still, one person can do a specific thing at its best. But the thing is, why the salary is low when it comes to the rules. A general rule is very good, and like SDs, why many people are running for SD roles, not for the FT, not for infrastructure engineer. And this is because salary, there is a difference in salary, and sometimes salary difference is much big. So what you would like to say about this?
Right. So it all boils down to demand and supply. If something is in high demand and supply is also very high, it's easy to find certain skills there, then the salary will be less. If the supply will be low, if there are very less people in that particular stream, then the salary will be high. So salary is salary. Like this is something. If you want to become in the profile A versus profile B, if profile A is making more money than profile B, that is how the industry is. That is how the overall, because salary is decided by a lot of formula. Like HR do a lot of study in a market, try to understand what is the supply, and for a specific job role, they decide one salary, and they stick to that. Like this is the salary. And salary is not a fixed salary; it's salary range from depending on your experience, your expertise, and it's also negotiable also. So salary is salary. Like if you are in a medical very niche product you are making, you may have a high salary because the supply is less. So salary is not something you can control. You can Google it out and see, okay, this job will give you this salary. If you want to run behind salary, whichever salary give you better money, and nothing wrong in that, then go for a technology that give you more money. Focus on that. So it depends on your priorities also, but it's an initial salary. Once you enter in that company, then it's all different ball game. So say you enter in a low salary, you are just a system admin, and then because you know it very well, you become a manager of managing multiple system admin. Then at that time, your salary will be more than somebody who is SD. So initial salary is one thing, but if you're good in something, the salary will grow. Your job will grow, salary will grow. You will get teams with the multiple areas. So that's not a problem. So if you want to focus on initial salary, then you focus on certain stream. But if you want to be a long run, you want to really be in a very good position in a long run, then I think don't worry about salary. Follow whatever you understand, you learn, and go that, and then you become manager or you start managing multiple teams. Your salary will grow.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
So myself, Sumit Kumar, and I have a question for you.
Sure.
Sir, do you really think the national currency will decentralize when the cryptocurrency enter in tech areas?
Okay, it's a very sensitive topic. Like national currency, which is called fiat currency, will be decentralized. The answer is not a straightforward yes or no. There are a lot of regulations that are in place. A lot of government officials are talking about regulations, how we can make both the currencies run side by side. So if you want me to speculate something, then I would speculate that both the currencies will go side by side. One currency will not completely dissolve and say, okay, now rupee is no more a legal tender, start using Bitcoin in entire country. It is difficult to imagine about it. I don't think it will happen. They will run side by side. You will have your choice to use your money. So currency is your money, right? You have hard-earned money. In India, if something happened to the economy in India, your rupee will really depreciate, and then hard-earned money will go. But rupee depreciation doesn't mean Bitcoin will also depreciate. So it is up to you where you want to keep the money. Very important. So I think the short answer to your question is there is a very high chances that both the money go side by side.
Thank you, sir.
So any other question from a student side?
Hello. I have one more question. Like I'm a student, and actually I got to know that in Asia the working culture is very bad. Managers, everyone, culture is very very bad. So people after working for 4 years in India would like to go to Canada, US, Europe, but not in in the Asia. So, what is your perspective on this? Is it really? Uh, because I feel like because my brother also told me that culture is not good in India, even in Asia, and many other peoples who are working in the company, big companies also told me, and whole LinkedIn is flooded with this thing. The working culture in Asia is bad. No one cares about working time, except few companies. So, what would like you to say about this working culture in Asia?
If you are working in India in IT, then be ready to stay late. There is no way around, especially if you are servicing US clients. If you are servicing Australian clients, it's a different thing. But if you are servicing US client, when I hire someone from India and that person is sitting in India, I have a strict criteria that you need to be in office at least till 9 o'clock, because right now it's like 9 or 9 a.m. in the morning, and I want someone who is working, should be sitting with the team and trying to, because there are a lot of agile ceremonies, there are a lot of ceremonies happen that we need involvement of the team members. So you cannot avoid that. Now, what happens with that, if your work-life balance is spoiling because you need to stay late, then automatically you will perceive it as a bad culture, because you are coming late to work, and especially the traffic jams are there, population is high. So overall experience goes bad because of that factor. Even though there are good companies which are paying good, still you cannot circumvent. But what is happening now is that because work from home is like getting more and more, and the companies are like became very flexible now, that okay, you can go home at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the evening and then log in from home. So that will improve a lot. That will give a lot of improvements there. Second thing is because attrition is very high, still very high in India. Like people are leaving, joining one job to another job. So managers are also getting conscious to take care of you so that you don't leave the company, you don't leave the firm. So things are improving in Asia, I would say, definitely. In US and Canada, the jobs are limited. It's not unlimited. The criteria to come to US is very strict. Like only handful of people come to US and work. And in Canada also the same thing. So it has its own disadvantages versus in India. So everything has a disadvantage and advantage. Definitely you make more money in US. There is no doubt about it. But in India, I would say that culture is improving because of work from home, especially.
Okay. I have one more question. If I'm dragging the call, then please let me know. My question is like I'm fresher now. I just want to move to Canada or US. I don't know why, but I want to. And it is very hard for a fresher to get visa, J1 visa or F1B especially. Actually, J1 visa is actually easy, but still, J1B visa is also hard to get because company don't want to hire people from other country. And so, how can I directly get an entry into US or Canada or maybe in any of the European country when I am a fresher?
In US, easiest way to enter is on the F1 visa, which is a student visa. If you get admitted in a college in any course, that is the easiest entry. And when you are college, there is a program called OPT and CPT program that after 2 years in college, you start working in the industry, and the money that you are making is a tax-free money. You don't have to pay taxes. And then once you get an experience in US, couple of years, someone can file you H1 visa, and then you can settle based on that. So that's the easiest route at this moment. But it is a little costly because when you go studies abroad, the cost is very high. You need to take a loan and whatever. If you have money, that's great. You can use your money and do it. But that is the easiest route in US. In Canada, it is a bit relaxed. The immigration is better than US. Better in the sense that in US, if you come here and file a green card in US, it will take around 100 years for that. You will not be survived for 100 years. So the things are improving. There are a lot of in the Senate and Congress, a lot of bills are getting approved. The things are getting better, but we don't know what will happen. If someone comes today to US and don't get the green card for a lifetime, a lot of things will be on stake. So that is a concern. Canada is a bit relaxed. Their immigration system is a little better there. So yeah, this is the situation. Like there is a pain in every country. There is a pros and cons and going to one, because what happens, it will look good initially that, okay, that's great, you came to US, but when you don't get green card, your spouse cannot work, and if they work, they really need to work start after 2-3 years. It's a challenging journey. It's not something in an easy path, but yeah, so there's a pros and cons, but that does not mean you should not attempt it. So you take a easy route, you take a F1 visa, come as a student, and hope for the best that these Congress and senators in Washington DC do something good for the Indians and Asian. Especially India is in big trouble, because what happens with the green card is that there is a separate line for every country, and India line is so big that it's taking a lot of time for getting the green cards. So that is a pain. But if something goes good in next 4 or 5 years and the new regulations get passed and it is a little bit easier for Indians to get visa, then yeah, things will improve. All right. Any more questions?
I think there is no more question. So we have to end this session. And thank you, Yogi. It's a wonderful session for the student, and the students got their answers from your side.
Sure.
And I request you, if you came to India, then please
Sure.
come to IMS Engineering College. So
Sure.
it's better for us because the
Sure.
student directly interact with you and learn a lot.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, Yogi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for having me here. Bye now.